Hello, good afternoon. My dear students, I am Kaushik Shah from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Shatobarshiki Mahavidyalaya, Helencha, North Chব্বিশ Parganas, West Bengal. Today's my topic is the Rawls and Justice Theory that belongs to Western political philosophy. Before discussing this theory, it is first necessary to know that John Bordley Rawls, born in 21st February 1921, and he died in 24th November 2002, and his spouse name is Margaret Warfield Fox Rawls. But he was influenced by Sir Immanuel Kant, John Locke, John Stuart Mill also. But after that, some peoples influenced by him, there are Amartya Sen, Thomas Page, Thomas Nagel, etc. But he was one of the professor of philosophy, Harvard University in the United States. So one thing, his main idea was the idea of the theory of justice, which is described in his famous book, A Theory of Justice, which is published in 1971. And his other books include Justice as Fairness, Distributive Justice, and Political Liberalism also. But casually, their publishing year was 1958, 1967, and 1993. According to him, this is such an important element that without it, society will not be able to move forward properly. So it is assumed that the society is fairly present. He defined society as a group of people who want to build a relationship of cooperation based on mutual benefit. But there is a conflict of interest on the other one hand, and a conflict of interest on the other hand. So, however, Rawls criticize utilitarianism theory and for interpreting unjust information and used social contract doctrine. In particular, from the social contract doctrine, Rawls brings out the idea of its original position and veil of ignorance. So one thing, original position is look like the state of nature, which is told by the Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. So in these cases, the original positions means this time all social human beings are not knowing what should to do and what not should to do. So in this position, all human beings are totally unknowing person, and they are, when they are going to a sign contract bill, that is the veil of ignorance also. Rawls sought to establish the theory of justice through two of its principles, namely, number one is each person is to have an equal right to the most extensive total system of equal basic liberties, compatible with a similar system of liberty for all. So, this is the first principle which is called in shortly the basic liberty, because these principles are always says the of the peoples, right of the peoples, right of the voting, right of the accommodation, right of the government service, etc. And number two principle is social and economic inequalities are to be arranged so that they are both means these principles are also divided into two parts. There are number A is to the greatest benefit of the least advantage, consistent with the just saving principles. And number B, attached to offices and positions, open to all under conditions of fair equality of opportunity. So in this cases means number two principles always says whose person is the poor in our society, they are get more and more benefit from the upper class. But one thing, the first principles of the two principles mentioned here is more important than the second, because without each one means first principle, so the second principle can never be made without first principles. Even after so long discussions, Amartya Sen critic this theory, and he said those who are physically handicapped in the society, they have not said anywhere how they can benefit from the state. And also Robert Nozick criticized that the job of the state is always not to distribute wealth but to protect individual property always. After so long discussion, I am giving three questions from today's topic as homework. Number one question is the principle of equality that political scientist Rawls talks about possible in the reality? Argue based on the answer. Number two, what do you think is the difference between the justice theory of Plato and Rawls? And number three, of the two principles of Rawlsian justice theory, which is the most important and why? Thank you.